Welcome to The Crooked Climb with Suzanne and Denise. Life and business are not linear. Let's get moving with honest, reliable, and unbiased information you can use to master life and business. We've all experienced life's ups and downs. In this show, Suzanne and Denise are committed to moving onward, upward, and most of all, learning from the biggest challenges we face in life and business. Join in the conversations with experts in their respective fields of health, wellness, personal development, fitness, and fun. And that's not all. Your path to self-mastery starts here. No climb is a straight line. Goals are achievable with clear targets. The ascent begins now.
Hello, and welcome to the Crooked Climb Show with Suzanne and Denise, a podcast like no other. Here you can join us live, a live audience after each of our shows every week, where you can connect with me and Suzanne and our special guest, and really engage in meaningful conversation. Hi, everyone. I'm Denise Stegall. I am the CEO and curator at livinghealthylist.com. The other half of this dynamic duo is Suzanne Taylor, the mastermind behind Tailored Consulting. Hey, Suze.
Hey, how are you guys?
Very good, very good. How you feeling right now?
Whew, it was a long journey through the interwebs to get to you today.
I know it, we're gonna chat a little bit about that. Before we actually get started, though, Sue, let's just real quickly tell everybody, what's going on in your world. What's going on with your business and kind of in your atmosphere.
Well, I had to roll with some punches today, and this is where my skills that I've learned from our guest today really came in handy. We had a beautiful weekend planned away with my family, away from work, away from electronics, and the kennel wouldn't take my dog because her shots were just done yesterday, and apparently there's some rule that nobody told me about, right? And in the moment, you're so angry and so frustrated, but then it's really like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about it. So I really brought in my mindfulness tools today. So it's super, when you see these skills and you read about them and you learn about them, it's awesome. But when they come into practice in your everyday life, it really hits home like, wow, if I didn't have these tools and skills. So I'm super excited for this podcast today. So that's my personal life. Business is always good and crazy and abundant and really full right now. So, that's always amazing. So
absolutely.
Yeah. How about you? What's new? What's new in your world?
Things are great. We just launched Living Healthy List Academy. Things are amazing. So, a little stressful, all good things. But Speaking of stress, did you know that the number one reason people actually turn to meditation is because of stress? In today's world, like we were saying, the levels of inputs and those highs and the lows are absolutely at the highest they've ever been. Back in the day, the information that we get today in one day was what people got in like an entire lifetime. And so managing daily levels of stress, we know, can be challenging. And just by sitting there, you can tap into a level of relaxation and mindfulness, not necessarily turning off your thoughts, but learning how to manage those thoughts and those stressful moments with a little bit of meditation. And that's what we're here today to talk about. So I am going to turn this over to you. I want you to introduce our amazing guest, who I love, love, love. So go for it.
Yeah, well, first I want to just say that this is really a surreal moment for me, because Cheryl and I grew up in the same neighborhood went to the same high school, knew so many of the same people, but we really weren't connected in high school. Like we knew who each other was,
Mhm.
but we weren't close. And now we've developed this relationship, reconnecting 30 years after high school. And I mean, it was instantaneous. The connections and the stories and the journey that we both went on had so many common ups and downs. Um, Cheryl's had many more ups and downs than mine. And it was like, wow, if we had known each other that whole time, what a support system we would have been for each other. So it's so wonderful to have her in my life now. And I just, this is really cool just to introduce her and say, you know, she has changed careers so many times over the years and grown. And now she is the founder of Grit and Grace Meditation. She's a 200-hour yoga and mindfulness instructor, a yoga nidra teacher, and a conscious sound practitioner, which is, I have yet to experience that. So I'm super excited to experience that. After 15 years of devoting her career to higher education, she felt the calling to follow her passion. And that's about the time we reconnected. So, how inspiring was that? And she
Cool.
combined that love of academics and teaching with personal and spiritual growth. And now she has such a sense of purpose. It exudes out of her, that purpose and the meaning, and she shares it with other people, practicing meditation and various forms of yoga, and they honor that healing modality, which was probably always a part of her. So I just want to say welcome, welcome to our conversation here today, Cheryl, about your inner Buddha and your badass self. And you certainly bring a little of both to the table. So welcome.
Thank you, Denise, and thank you, Suzanne. What a beautiful, welcoming intro there. I thank you both for having me on here. I'm sitting outside in sunny Arizona, and I live in Sedona now. So yeah, all in divine timing, right, Suzanne? So we were meant to cross paths later in life, and maybe earlier we wouldn't have had that common thread, but we certainly do now. And so we can continue to support each other, even though I moved to a different space and in a different state. But we definitely still find time to connect. And I have to get both of you to come out here and experience the magical nature of Sedona, Arizona.
One of my
So,
favorite places.
oh, me
Yeah,
too.
I think there needs to be some sort of uh, tailored living healthy list retreat in
Yeah.
Sedona with Grit and Grace
I see that
meditation. I think
happening.
that, yeah, I
We
think
can
that
And
make
sounds
that
like
happen.
yeah.
fun.
And so it is,
Um,
right?
yeah, and so it will be. Yeah,
So it is.
yeah. So I think we really wanted to address, um, for the entrepreneur, for myself, for Denise, for a lot of our listeners, the stress that we experience, the amount of inputs that we experience, and that perception of that. I wonder if you could talk a little bit to, that level of stress and how mindfulness and meditation can can change that actually in the brain.
Absolutely. Denise and I were talking right before you popped on. And so, you experienced some levels of stress today, levels of stress when it came to the kennel not taking your dog, and then levels of stress and popping on and getting your electronics to work. And, just all of us taking on the stressors of the day, stressors, the overlying, art, things that are going in today's world too. So I think we as human beings, we're always in the state of doing, where sometimes
Mm.
we need to allow ourselves to just be. We are human beings, right? Not human doings. So that would be the first thing. You know, whether we are an entrepreneur or we're working in corporate America or we're a high school student and we have to get our work done for our studies, or we're a stay-at-home mom, all of us experience stress in our own way, and all of us have stress all throughout the day at different levels, right? And so
Yeah.
we have something, all of us have an autonomic nervous system, right? And when we're experiencing stress, we're flipping our body into the parasympathetic, into the sympathetic, which is the stressor, right? It's a reality that happens automatically in our body. And it can be as stressful as trying to log into your computer when you have a date and time that you need to be somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It could be whether you're in a car driving and someone pulls out in front of you, or it could be something perceived, whether you are like maybe watching a movie and it's a horror movie. The brain perceives stress in its own fashion, and then there's a physiological aspect within our body that automatically happens. And so you may have felt your heart starting to race, right? When you had that call this morning with the kennel, you
Mm-hmm.
probably felt your breath and it went up into your chest and you're no longer deep breathing. You could probably feel yourself starting to sweat. And so that's part of all what happens in our body when stress is happening. And this is something that's happening all throughout our day, all throughout our week. And, you know, in today's day and age, with everything that's going on there, like I said, there's this overarching feeling of with things that are going on with COVID, and that's additional stress on our body. So
Mm.
we need to take care of ourselves when that happens. The number one way to take care of ourselves is through sleep. Another way is exercise. And the way that I'd like to also say is meditation and mindfulness, weaving that in and out through your entire day. Whether that's a formal practice of a seated position that many of us know, where you're like, you see people with their eyes closed, maybe holding a particular mudra, sitting in lotus position, that's great. Or you're at your desk and you need to just take a pause and close your
Mm.
eyes, take 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. That's what I would call a mindful moment. Really just disconnecting, resetting, flipping your body into the parasympathetic, and taking 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose is a perfect way to do it. And who can't do that? Because we always have our breath with us.
I love the idea of the mindful moment because, people say, "Oh, I don't have time to start a
Mm,
practice. I don't have time to do this." Everybody's got a minute to
right.
do something good for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the biggest deterrent, Denise. When people come to me to talk about meditation, the first thing that they may say is, I don't have time, right? As I said, we are human beings, but we're also human doings. And so creating that time, that sacred space for ourselves is not on our list. But how often can we weave a mindful moment throughout our day where we just pause? You know, you could set a healthy habit of every time you come to a red light in your car driving, you could just pause, take 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose, resetting your system. We're on automatic pilot often, when you're driving in a car, actually just being mindful. I'm driving in a car and I'm only doing one thing, just driving, noticing everything around me, taking in the nature, not texting, not thinking about what we just did or where we have to go, really just being present in the moment that we have right in front of us.
I get that. I have a brand
Yeah.
new car and I really have to be mindful when I'm driving that new car because it doesn't drive like any other normal car.
Right.
It's and truly I can't be sidetracked. And so it's a different experience now, really just driving and not worried about everything else that's going on. So I think I've been kind of quote unquote forced into a mindful moment in my car.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think what I like about this, and what I hear you saying, is that, it doesn't have to be a formal meditation practice where you sit for an hour and you clear your thoughts and you don't think about anything and you chant or whatever. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It can be what works for you, whether it's a minute, whether it's 5 minutes, breathing, open eyes, closed eyes, doesn't matter. One of my favorites is the daydreaming meditation. Just staring off into the clouds or the trees and watching them move and just breathing. And
Right.
I turn to that tool numerous times a day when something comes up for me, some days more than others. And I think it's that ability to have something to turn to when you feel yourself like, oh no, I'm getting upset right now. And I could feel it happening today. And not the girl at the kennel's fault, right? It's
Right.
not the computer's fault. It's not the internet's fault. It wouldn't connect fast enough today. And so remembering those things, it takes a minute for you to actually connect with that truth, I
Absolutely.
think.
Yeah. It's
Um,
really a tool that you can have in your toolbox to help you to
mhm.
navigate your day. It's few and far between that we can all navigate a single day without some sort of stress coming in. And so we really have to find what resonates with each of us individually. And so many people don't have the time to literally sit in a formal practice. So a lot of people
Yeah.
will just not do it all together. Whereas, how about we, find a modality that works for you, even if you're starting with mindful moments, and then maybe you make a commitment to yourself to building those mindful moments up to longer periods of time. Sometimes, our minds are always going, and there are definitely times, I'm an avid meditator for years now, and there are still times that I feel as that I can't get the mind to settle down. And,
Mhm.
so it's starting in the morning, and doing a meditative practice in the morning is really a great way, because you've just come out of a good night's sleep, hopefully, and then you give yourself that time in the morning to help you set the trajectory of the day, help you set the way you want your day to unfold. And
Oh,
then
I love that.
if you we're going to experience something's going to come up, we at least have given ourselves the space to say, wait, pause, take a moment, let's breathe through it, and let's see what we can do, as opposed to escalating immediately and going right into that fight or flight.
So
Oh,
I
well,
know.
that's wow.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Denise. Go ahead. I have so many questions and so many things I want to say. Go
Well,
ahead.
I do know, Cheryl, that you have a name for this when you get up in the morning, your morning meditative practice. So would you share that with everybody?
I'm my
Our,
morning.
well, yeah, because I know it's something that you've taught in the past. It starts with R, P in the
I'm
middle, M in the end.
I'm sorry, Denise. You caught me off guard, and maybe my mind isn't clear enough. You're going to have to help me here.
RPM.
Oh, rise, pee, meditate. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Rise,
So,
P,
yeah,
meditate.
I'm like, okay, so RPM, yeah, rise, pee, meditate. Because what happens is we get into, our day immediately. So if we are getting up, everyone usually has to hit the bathroom, and then you just go right into your meditation practice. Therefore, your day, as I just said, you're setting the trajectory for your day. And
Yeah.
3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever your normal morning practice is. And this is definitely something that they teach in meditation retreats as well. Another great time to meditate is at like we call the happy hour meditation. You know, you're coming home and maybe you finished your workday. You want to clear the plate, right? You want to clear your plate before you enter your house or before you engage with your spouse or your partner, your children. And so you want to get rid of that stuff, and then you're showing up as your best self. It is a difficult hour. You know, we all know that's the bewitching hour because everything is unfolding. So, you know,
Yeah.
maybe there is where you inject a mindful moment, at least taking 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose, really feeling it all the way down in the belly. If you're breathing in the chest, you're in the sympathetic. You want to be in the
Yeah.
parasympathetic, you know?
Well, I can't believe we are almost out of time. We have so many more places to go with you, Cheryl. So I want you to tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, how they can find information about you. And then we're going to wrap up and invite you into our breakout room with our audience for Q&A, maybe a little coaching on mindfulness and meditation. I know I could use some today. And so where can our listeners find you?
So if you, I'm on social media, Instagram and Facebook, Grit and Grace Meditation. You can also go to my website, gritandgracemeditation.com. And I am in Sedona, Arizona. I would love to connect with anyone that may be traveling out here for a retreat, a vacation. The newest modality that I've brought into Grit and Grace, into the practice that I share with myself and not only others, is the sound healing. So this is a really great modality to work with. As I was talking to Denise about this a little bit ago, sometimes people have a difficult time slowing down that monkey mind and really just using the breath or a mantra as a focal point. And so sound is a beautiful way. So I have a beautiful set of alchemy bowls, and we can play them in a meditative practice. And then your body can actually go fairly deep because the sound is resonating with you, works on us
Amazing.
at a cellular level. It's quite beautiful.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. And I want to just remind our audience that every week there's another diet, exercise, or workout program. And instead of spending hundreds of hours and dollars on these programs and still feeling stuck, the Living Healthy List, the Crooked Climb, and Tailored Consulting all want to help you live simpler, easier, more focused lives. Our 3 pillars of nourish, move, and be to maximize every aspect of your life and business with quick and easy steps and tools that you can take into real life. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Denise, as always. And please, you're going to have to come back and join us again so we can go even deeper.
I would love to. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to The Crooked Climb with Suzanne and Denise. Life and business are not linear. Your go-to solution for honest, reliable, and unbiased information you can use to master your life and business. To connect with Suzanne, visit thetailoredconsultingagency.com. That's tailored, TAYLORD. And to connect with Denise, visit livinghealthylist.com.